Hello everybody, this is Hypersonic and welcome back to Season 2 of the Sonic City soundtrack comparison, Episode 5, Quartz Quadrant. The Japanese soundtrack has a 3-song lead of 7-4 over the American soundtrack. Will the lead grow or will it shrink? We'll have to see. Round 12, Quartz Quadrant present. Here's the Japanese version. And now for the American version. This was pretty easy. The Japanese version is just, generally speaking, a much better composed song. The American version, while it is a good rock song, doesn't really fit too much, other than the terrible pun that is rock, just like how Quartz Quadrant is a rock. The Japanese version is just, generally speaking, just very gutsy. Very good percussion, very good notes, does everything perfectly. Very good flutes. The American version has a good guitar, yeah, it's good vocals, certainly. But Japanese soundtrack just definitely takes this one. This one was definitely easy. No contest for the Japanese soundtrack here. Round 13. Quartz Quadrant Math Teacher. Here's the Japanese soundtrack. here's the American soundtrack. This one is definitely the interesting take for me. Last season, I gave this round to the Japanese soundtrack. I even said it was the best song of Quartz Quadrant, whereas this time around it's not the same case. The Japanese version has that double-edged sword, a very bad one at that too. The second half of this song is very crazy, shows how bad things have gone, but sometimes I find it's not really too well composed. Like, it's very cluttered, you can't really hear much in it. At the same time, I can see myself absolutely enjoying it, and at the same time, I can see myself absolutely being disappointed. And you also have to add to the fact that the first half of the song is just basically a remix of the first half of Quartz Quadrant. That sounds really similar to it. It really does. But generally speaking, it's a very good song. The American version, however, perfectly fits a bad feature. It is the epitome of a bad feature. It is also my favorite bad feature song currently from the American soundtrack. So the American soundtrack definitely wins this round. Round 14, Quartz Quadrant, Good Future. Here's the Japanese soundtrack. And now for the American soundtrack. This one has consistently been a close round. In Season 1, this was a very, very close round, which I believe I gave this one a tie, I think, in the original one. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to check back on that, but this one has been consistently an extremely close race, which sometimes has swung from one soundtrack or another. I can't really choose between which one in this video. The Japanese soundtrack is all around beautiful and is a really good remix of the second half of the present theme. And yes, well, albeit it is kind of similar to the present, I'm not going to hold this one back because it's just really great, and this is one of the first songs in the game to grab me. The American version is straight up beautiful as well, and it's very atmospheric. It just does everything right. It does a really good job at doing the yin-yang for the bad future, just as I stated in Paltry Panic how it really does it well. And albeit while it doesn't make as much sense as it's not the first zone, I still think it does an even greater job of showing the mood. Like, it may be an octave higher in the bad future, but it's just such a big contrast and such an epic song. Both of these are really good, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, so I will declare this currently a perfect draw. The Japanese soundtrack has 8 songs, and the American soundtrack has 5 songs, with the lead staying the same, as we have one song that is currently a perfect draw. We will return back to Quartz Quadrant in the future, maybe in another video. But stay tuned for Wacky Workbench, which is probably going to be my favorite video to make, of course, because I have very interesting takes on Wacky Workbench, and I really love the music there. See you guys next time for what I would consider to be the best video in the series. See you later. God bless.